I've got to manage myself, I've got to manage my mind. The task is not easy, but to high heights I climb.
I'm determined to succeed, so no excuses, please. If you don't want success in life, then don't hinder me. Yes, let the whole world know you are a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. The time is here to celebrate. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. Yes, let the whole world know. The time is here to celebrate. Success is calling, so don't be late. You are a CEO.
Hello, everyone. Michael E. Parker here for another exciting show here on CEO TV. And you all know that we've been talking about Mystery May. And all throughout May, or at least the latter part of May, we've been having mystery guests. And I haven't been telling you all who's going to be here. And tonight we're going to do it again. And I have a special, special, special mystery guest. And it's time to tell you about who that mystery guest is. Now, I want to tell you this. This is going to be an interesting discussion. And it's also going to be an interesting moment because my mystery guest is my very own lovely wife, Miss Maya Parker. We're going to talk about from clean to custom. And we're going to find out what this means related to health. But before we jump into it, I would like to welcome Miss Maya Parker. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, I know this is not your normal thing, so you probably a little, just nervous being out here on the show, coming into my world a little bit, but I love it because...
Well, I'm honored to be, I'm honored to be on the show.
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm, most of the time in your world, like in terms of, whatever you think that might need to be done or how certain things, but I feel like right now you're in my world, and it's just great.
We're in each other's world.
We're in each other's world.
Yes.
That's very well said, very well said. Well, it's always a treat to have you on the show. I've had you on the show, very few times, but it was always special. And for those that don't know, we're going to talk a little bit about health tonight. And health, has always been a passion for you. Going way back, I remember, you making the decision to go toward the health sciences, even in college. But can you speak a little bit about, how did you even start getting involved in health? How did you get passionate about that?
Well, my first job was in a dental office. So I was an assistant in a dental office, which exposed me, kind of to, I guess you would say, the medical part, the science. And I've always loved science. And I think as I, got older and, got more into my career, I started to notice there was a difference between health, or a difference was made between health and basically medicine, medical and health, or medicine and wellness. It was just kind of on two different sides of the spectrum. I guess you could say health and nutrition. So there was still that part that was there, but it was, kind of just two different lanes.
Right.
And I really enjoyed both, but my passion became, health and understanding the whole person.
Right.
And I noticed even, before I got into, more of my career in school, I noticed that medically, or the sciences, did not include a lot of health and wellness. It was just about the anatomy, physiology, all of your chemistries, just the
Right.
science of
Right.
it all.
Right.
But that whole person was not there.
So when you think about, because I remember, you know, I happened to be, you know, even I think we were dating and you were doing a lot of sciences and we would talk and you would, you know, want me to help you study for something and I wasn't
Yes.
remembering all these different words and
Yes, you
stuff.
did.
Now I took my science, I did pretty good.
You did. You really
Yeah.
did. You helped me a lot too.
Yeah, but I learned a lot too.
You were my guinea pig.
Absolutely. And we would talk about different sciences and I think when you think about the sciences is one element of it, but then there's it seems like you always loved the science, but you also had this mindset about the whole person in terms of
Yes.
how can I learn more about the overall person and what impacts their health and their well-being.
Right.
Because even when, you know, now as an owner of Javance and one of our companies where we focus on, you know, beauty and we start off saying beauty and wellness, we're kind of coming back around to that again, and maybe we'll talk more about that later, but it seems like you just always had something in you about the whole person being well.
Right.
I don't know where it came from, but it seemed like it was there.
Well, because you can't, it's, you know, science is so matter of fact. And there's so many variables to everything, and every body is different.
Right.
So you have to, you know, look at the individual and look at everything that surrounds them. You know, their whole, you know, social, you know, physiological, even their environment, you know, their genetics, their background. You know, you can't just treat, you know, a symptom when you're looking at that symptom because it could be some underlying layers there. Right. So I learned that in the very beginning that, you know, you have to look at the whole person. And I really feel like, you know, science or, you know, Western medicine didn't always do that. Right. You know, that wasn't in the fabric of it. But that was, you know, that was a long time ago, you know, like over 20 years ago. Through time, you know, it started to meet up with
Right.
the wellness or the wholeness of
Right.
a person because, you know, chronic illnesses, that's become more of the thing. And the medical world had to kind of acknowledge, you know, that there was a missing gap.
Right.
And so I feel like now, you know, that health, you know, that whole person is getting more popular and it's getting more, you know, well known. Everyone's talking about wellness.
Right.
You know, you're hearing everything about health and, you know, the whole person. Whereas, you know, some decades ago, it was, you know, kind of taboo.
Right.
So, but the science is there.
Right.
So it took time to like really acknowledge that it all is integrated.
Connected,
it's
yeah.
all interconnected.
Well, I happen to know that your dad is deep in the science area,
Yes.
and he's been into, you know, getting into, you know, the deep sciences of, you know.
He's like a scientist.
Like a scientist,
Yes,
the
yes.
Petri dish level,
Yes,
right?
loves it,
So
yes.
it seems like you have some of that in you,
Yeah.
but that you kind of also went more into the health side of things, which is it's related, but it's a little different. And one thing that before kind of get into, we're just having a good discussion here, just
Yeah.
kind of setting the tone because we need to talk about from clean to custom. We're
Okay.
headed there, but.
Yes.
But I know, like right now, you're even putting more investment in your learning and education, where I know, you know, you've been talking a lot about integrative health.
Yes.
Can you say a little bit about that and what that is and how you're trying to maybe grow in some of the knowledge there as the industry is getting more smart about this whole concept of integrative health?
Yeah, so in its simplest form, it's basically the integration of Western and Eastern medicine. So it's a marriage of the two, and you know, there's actual, you know, practitioners and doctors and, you know, even, you know, mental health. They're all, even dietitians, they're all now, you know, and have been within the recent, probably past 5-10 years, integrating towards this approach because they're finding with their patients and or clients that by treating the whole person, they're getting sustainable results. So it's not just, the conventional medicine where, I see the symptom, I treat it, and that symptom I treat it over and over and over, or, give some sort of medication,
Right.
to deal, maybe it's diabetes and there's you're given a steroid, but what caused it, what's the underlying cause is, because even we say root cause, but there's root causes. So one of them could be, stress induced.
Right.
Okay, so is the steroid treating the stress?
Right.
So it's like you have to get like full, like when you say wellness and wholeness results that are sustainable, you have to look at more than just the symptom.
Right.
And so then Eastern, that's more what they would call holistic, where it's the mental, like we talk about mind fitness on
Yeah.
You Are CEO,
Right.
which it totally, connects to how you feel, to the decisions you make, to even the choices you make from, what you eat, how you exercise,
Right.
your you as a person. So it's the marriage of the two
Yeah.
to get the best end result.
And I think it's so powerful to take the good from both of them and be able to create meaningful solutions to real problems that people have. So you're not limited to Western or Eastern, but because sometimes it is good, you just need to take some medicine, right?
Right.
Because it's been proven, it works, and that's the best thing for the problem you have. And then there's many times that they'll just throw medicine at you and not address, like you said, the underlying causes. And so, and that kind of goes to what some of the things that we kind of talk about tonight. And I made a statement to you through some epiphanies that I was getting recently, and I made a statement from clean to custom. And I think you kind of like that statement, like,
Yeah.
goes along with a lot that you have studied and been studying. But I want to kind of introduce this to everyone that'll be kind of listening to tonight. And it was almost about 5 years ago now that that I had a doctor's appointment, and he told me I was just a little bit below a pre-diabetic, and was the thing for me. Like that did it for me, just to say, wait a minute, why is this even in the conversation? I've always been healthy, been active. That's what I went on this journey of really starting to search, what does it mean to eat better and to eat clean? And I know you, since I've known you throughout our marriage, even in dating, you were very conscious of what you were eating and, all kinds of things, which I never paid really a lot of attention to personally, because I just didn't grow up that way. But that was the first time I started getting deep into clean, like just things that were whole, things that, that come from, the earth, things that God made, so to speak, and even searching scripture and so I want to start there before getting to the custom part, the epiphany there. So for everyone that's listening, maybe just reinforce, why is it so important for us to at least first have a foundation of eating more clean?
Well, number one, the culture we live in, we're heavily inundated with images and, ads, and even how we grew up, of the types of foods that, are in our diets, or what is good and what is not good. And then what you get accustomed to eating and, enjoying, that's what you tend to always want and crave, whether it's good or bad. So starting at an early age, usually it's not the best for the most part. Some people, like I did grow up, we grew up eating microwave food, this was the 80s, but my mom, she was a little bit more, health conscious. There were things coming out during the 80s that was just all into, that was kind of like the big craze with health, actually, and she went all in. So that helped kind of some, stabilization or understanding of what is more healthy and what is not.
Even just the knowledge, just to know that this other world existed,
Right.
is a big deal.
But fast foods, that's everybody's way of life. Supersize it.
Right.
Sugars, fats. All the good, sugary cereals. That's
Yeah.
just how,
Right.
you kind of grow up. But
And I mean, honestly, like to understand that there's certain animals that might have more toxins in them, or the things that people are doing to increase the shelf life of a product,
Yeah.
or the processing that's being done to food.
That's a lot in our culture,
Right.
in American culture. So,
Right.
because of the money that's behind it.
Right.
So that became more of the norm, even changing with the nutritional facts. It can be like a certain percentage and you could say it's, this amount of fat or sugar or no sugar, but really there is some still in there.
Right.
So there's just different things that we are not privy to as the consumer,
Right.
but we are consuming them and in excess. So it just changed the whole land. And then everybody, it's our norm.
Right.
So it was a point in time, though, I do feel, where that knowledge was put out there, and it was kind of they were exposed, if you will. And now more education, became more prevalent. So people understood, okay, I don't have to, have this. Actually, this is killing me.
Right,
And, I'm giving it, to my children. And, this is like, it's become our lifestyle and it's a norm, but it should not be.
Right.
So, but that's not in our culture. So it's just now, as of, probably within the last, again, 10 years, 5 to 10 years, where that education is out there and that knowledge,
Right.
of
Now,
what's healthy.
Well, but the thing about it is, think about it that, before, it's like when you know better, you should do better. And so the knowledge is now more prevalent of what is not good for you, right? It's making people put labels on it. It's more of a health consciousness that's, more popular than ever, before.
Right.
But we're dealing with cultural things now
Yeah.
and addictions
Yes.
that is being passed on through generations, to where you can know something is hurting you and still not have the power to overcome it, because
Right.
it's back to the baby formulas that have sugar in it, or the things that's the particular vending machines that's on the high school campuses or the junior highs. We're dealing with a bigger framework
It's
now
absolutely
than
everywhere.
even knowledge.
Yes, it's everywhere. It's a part of, for sure, our culture, and the American culture. So it's money that's built into that. So it's so much marketing behind that.
Right.
It's taken over in ways that sometimes you don't even notice it until you notice it.
Right.
But it's totally the opposite. So it's almost like we had to learn, and unlearn what we thought we did know.
Right.
And now, we're starting to understand, those differences. But it took a while. I mean, just think about it. How long? I mean, that's been for years, but I will say that, generations before, like maybe even going back to possibly the baby boomer generation, it wasn't as, prevalent. So, they did eat their vegetables, and, even
Right.
if they didn't want to, there was, you had your proteins, your, carbs, your vegetables, your fats, whatever you needed. But, and they were built better,
Right.
because that was their norm. But as time progressed, and life got busy, and now we need to speed this up. Everything is like, quick, fast, fast foods, microwave,
Right.
all those things that speed it up. Okay, but if I need to lose this weight I picked up, even a diet, I do a detox, do this, but all of that is not healthy for your body.
Right.
It's it's not natural, it's not the norm.
Right, and you talked about growing up with the microwave, but there's a microwave mentality as well.
Exactly,
That,
that's-
you know,
yeah.
how can I have it faster? How can I do it quicker?
Whatever
how
it
can
is, yeah.
whatever it may be. Now, that kind of brings me to this, you know, epiphany for me, you know, going on like 5 years of just eating clean, still having, you know, sugar that's in fruit, or if it's gonna be some sugar in something, it's pure cane, it's nothing processed. And I know even just recently keep doing all my checkups, my medical checkups and things like that, and coming to the realization, you know, that even though eating clean, that when I start to really study my what is hereditary, you know, which causes certain of my numbers to be higher than it should be, or eating something that's clean, but for me, it might have too much sodium or too much cholesterol, or it have still too much sugar, or the amount of it that I might be eating for my makeup, for my age, for my body type. So this is why I'm saying from clean to custom, and I know you believe in this, and I wanted to see if you could say a little bit about this, because I'm really finding even right now of now moving deeper to the next level, like not just eating cleaner, but now how do I customize a meal plan that is best for my situation, that is more custom for my situation. So tell me some things and tell everyone some things about that, because I think this is, the clean part is already hard. Like you gotta just at first get there, but there's a point where it's not hard anymore. It's like you grow accustomed to, I don't wanna put certain things in my body anymore, and
Right.
I'm kind of the CEO of that. But then it's like, okay, but now even within the clean,
Yes.
how do I start to balance things out in what's best for me? Say
Yeah.
something about that.
So that's a loaded question. But I will say, first, let me go back to say, you know, to solidify why I kind of got off and, you know, went more towards health. Because for me, too, I had to come to a realization of certain foods that I was eating, how it was making my body feel. So you need to your point, you need to become more aware of your body, you know. So we have a fast environment, you know, the world is loud, you know, and life is.
Right.
So sometimes, you know, your body is responding to in certain ways or trying to tell you, but you just kind of keep it moving. Or you pop a pill, or let me do this, you know, or you say, you might just think, oh, I just need to rest or what have you, but your body will speak to you, you know. So whatever you put in your body, it'll respond.
Right.
So, and because we're all different, there's no one size fits all. So you have to look at your background. You have to look at your genetics, you know. Did heart disease run in my family? Hypertension, like you said, diabetes, high cholesterol, whatever. You have to get that that baseline first, so you can already know, okay, I should be on the lookout for this.
Right.
Clean is good. You know, clean is like, you know, the first step, because like we were talking about earlier, you know, most all of the things that are promoted, you know, or that taste good to us are processed or
Right.
fast foods, you know, and you become accustomed to that. So at least the clean foods, you know, more real foods,
Right.
which I really believe food is a medicine.
It is.
You know,
right.
it has the properties to, you know, help your insides,
Right.
you know, and, you know, give you the things that you need, your body needs. It's our fuel, it's all of that. We need it.
Right.
So by eating real food is what, you know, clean food
Right.
is the first layer. But, you know, okay, but what might impact my body, you know, is going to be different than what impacts your body. So
Right.
now I might have, you know, sugar for me might send me in a, you know,
Right.
in just, I don't want to get graphic, but
Right.
it might not be the best for me.
Right. Even though you can be using clean, pure cane sugar, that's clean.
That's cleaner, but sugar is still sugar.
Is sugar.
And it's
Sweet
still,
is sweet. Yeah.
the body still breaks it down, you know. and use, it's still going to be sugar to your body
Right.
wherever it's cleaner.
Right.
So I really feel like I'm trying to, in simplicity,
Right.
moderation. So that sugar, like, okay, if I'm going to have sugar, I'm not going to have it every day, all day.
Right.
If I have to have that sugar, and then also, you know, being knowledgeable of where sugar is, like what is it, okay, if I have, this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, and this for snack, how much sugar, am I eating through that course of the day?
Right. And sometimes you don't realize that sugar is even in something. You don't even know why you like it until
Right.
you get the details. And even in fruit, I mean, it's
Right.
full of sugar.
Yes.
It's a good, healthy sugar, but you
Yeah.
still have to be aware
Yes.
of how much sugar that you're taking in. And I think what you're saying and said so well is to get to those different layers. And one thing I was talking to a doctor recently about, which I know you believe a lot in, when you think about even the way and when we eat certain things, right? And it's the portions, but even when, because I've been working on this a lot more, as you know, is that, just having my vegetables with my carb and my protein and my sugar or little, fruit that I might felt like eating a big bowl of grapes was no problem to eat whenever I want because it's clean, but spikes your sugar up and it's just all in your blood. Versus when it all comes into your body together, your body receives it differently, and it doesn't just shoot into your blood. It comes in a more healthy manner when you put it all together. So knowing little things like that
Yes.
not everyone would know, like
It's a science. That's the science. Your body will do that. It's a science to that. So all those macronutrients, when you get your proteins, when you get your carbs and fats, and you eat them, in the portion sizes, you said a key word, because that's another thing that is just
Right.
off the
off
chart.
the charts, yeah.
But the portion, the correct portion sizes of those, what they call macro, your body is like it's receiving all of those nutrients that it needs and processing and it put into places where it's supposed to and going out what's supposed to go out.
Right.
That process, your body responds to that, the right way. So a lot of times we're not getting enough of those. We're eating trash. It's
Right.
like we're feeling full, but what is your body
Right.
using for energy,
Right.
the nutrients for your, for your skin, for, just for your overall health.
Right.
You need those specific and in those combinations and in those right portion sizes.
Right.
So that makes a difference. So it's almost like a formula, if you will.
Yeah, right.
And it works. And you're eating now, all throughout the day, and you're not starving yourself
Right.
to where now your metabolism is, out of whack, and you're wondering, why, like I'm trying to, manage my weight, but it's like, it's nothing's moving
Right.
or I'm hitting a plateau.
Right, right.
So it really is a formula to it, but it works, and it's been proven throughout the ages.
Yeah.
But I really feel like mentally we don't believe it, and one is because you want something quick,
Yeah.
and you want like, okay, I can do this in, 30 days and, I'm going to shed this weight and that's all I need, then I'm good to go. But you've trained your body now to do, that. And
Right.
now to get, you're not going to eat like that for a lifetime.
Right.
So your body is going to remember that, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And now you have to start all over again and retrain your body. Once you're ready, once you made up in your mind,
Right.
this is the right way to do it.
Right.
And it takes time.
No, it does take time. And I know this is such an interesting topic. We're going to have to talk about it more at some point. I know we're running out of time, but I think it's so important that, because your body is a survivor and it'll survive on whatever. You could be in a cave and just have leaves in there and eat the leaves and it'll find a way to survive. Doesn't mean the body's healthy, but your body will find a way to survive off of Skittles, off of donuts, off of whatever you feed it. Doesn't mean it's not getting sick. Doesn't mean you're not gonna pay for it soon or later. And that's the thing that's a deception, is because you feel like, I'm all right. But
Right.
your body is made to survive off of what you give it. It's gonna make the most out of what you do, and you're training it. But if you can train it to eat of things that is making it better, and you mentioned the mental, and I wanna kind of close out with this, because I know that when you think about the mental side and closing, I wanna end on this note is, it's such a mental aspect to this. And you talked about mind fitness, is that, and I know for me, that's the greatest battle that I've had to face with health, is in my mind. Just because of what my mind has been trained to like, and what I found pleasure in food, and what made me feel happy. And we eat in moments of excitement, pleasure, rest, whatever. But to really get in my mind that it starts becoming more important to me how I feel
That's right.
than a temporary moment of what tastes good. And I think at some point we all have to start to value feeling good, because the food was supposed to be about energy. It was never supposed to be for pleasure. Not that some of it can't be pleasurable, but it was always supposed to be about energy. And so when you really get sick or something really happens that shakes your world up, you quickly, they always say your diet, go back to your food. But if we can get that mindset now to care enough about how we feel, so that you don't have to have a rude awakening that makes you start thinking about it, that, man, it matters to me. Say a little bit about the mental side. Let me give you the final thought about this is, what would you say out there to those who are struggling with the mental side? Not only you said some people don't believe, some people just don't want to believe because they don't, like the I don't know what movie that was. So you can't handle the truth. It feels like that sometimes. Like I just can't handle the truth of it. But what do you say to encourage some of those that struggle in their mind?
Yeah, it's really not that easy when you're on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
Especially because you have to think about you've been eating this way or living this way for a long time. It didn't happen overnight. You have to change your whole lifestyle and permanent. It's like you have to make your mind up like this is going to be a permanent change. That's not, you have to cross that hurdle first.
Right.
Because really, once you cross that hurdle where you really believe that I want to do this, it does get easier. But that almost is like the huge kind of wall that it seems like I can't get over it. And then, there's just all these processes of, I'm not gonna be able to last, or you feel defeated, or when it doesn't, happen real quick, you feel like I can't do it. It's just all these hurdles.
Right.
But I really feel like mentally, even images that we see, the environments that we are in where people are telling you, what you should look like, what you shouldn't, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and then also definitely how we've been accustomed to eating, and those cravings are real. Your body will tell you, I need to eat this.
Yeah, it's science.
So, yeah, it's just so you have to really be able to resist that. And, I don't know, about willpower, or, that whole thing. But I mean, I would have to say pray because I really feel like it's really deeper than just a willpower, because everybody is like, yeah, I have the, I want to just do it, but it's serious. It's like, it's easy for someone to just say, just do it. No, you really, you're changing your mindset. That is like a lifestyle change. And that is major. So I say pray. And then I would really, once you make that, your mind up and you feel that added strength, stay in it. Get a circle, around you that's supportive, along that journey. But realizing that it took you that long to get to that point, it's not going to change overnight. So it is a journey, it is a process.
Right.
So it's going to take some time to get there. But you'll get to that point where it clicks and you don't even want to go back.
Right.
Because it's like your body, it's like now you're awake to what your body is telling you. You know, now you are aware of how your body is feeling.
Right.
And not just, I'm having this craving, what the scale is saying, what
Right.
that image on, Instagram is looking like, and I don't look like that. Throw all of that out, focus on your health and your wellness and all the, what you want to get to, that'll come.
Right.
But you have to have the right focus and that mindset, it'll be there.
Very well said. I really want to leave it on that note. There's so much more we can talk about with this, but everyone out there, I just want you to really take to heart what you heard from Maya, and everyone out there that's in the battle with health, with fitness, with fighting disease, with fighting hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, sodium, all the different things that many of us are battling, especially here in America. To really push yourself to do that, and understanding that bigger than even, after you get done, with your greatest willpower and even some prayer, as Maya said, you also want to focus on setting yourself up to succeed, so that willpower is not such a factor. If you start thinking about how can I set myself up, what's around me, who's around me, where are my different habits at, and seeing what can you do to create a better environment for yourself to succeed. And so these are things that you want to keep in mind. And always remember, this all comes down to values as well. When I start to value my energy and how I feel above what I want to eat and what I taste, then there's a point where I can switch over into enjoying a life that is more healthy because it's aligned with what I really value. And so that's something I want you to remember. So listen, everyone out there, I want to thank Maya for her great contribution. So honey, thank you. You did great. You didn't have no problem. You thought you might be a little nervous, but you did great. It was perfect. Everything was perfect. And all of everything you shared. And I just want to thank you for always being so conscious about wanting to see people be better. I hear you talk to people all the time, encouraging people all the time. And I know you've been getting deeper in knowledge now so you can help more people. And I'm looking forward to some things we can do in the future. So thank you so much. So,
Thank you too.
Oh, well,
That's
thank
okay.
you. Thank you. So we're going to end here in love here, of thanking the cross thanking here. And we enjoyed this show with the Parkers here tonight. But listen, we're gonna now get prepared. We took a little bit longer. These are our Mystery May shows, so it might be a little longer tonight. But again, you all know we're headed toward a big summer break. So enjoy as much as you can of COTV. Because of things that are happening. So our next show, I want to remind you that our next show, and it's our final show before our big summer break. It's going to be on May 31st. We're going to have another mystery guest. And so you need to come to that show to find out what is going to be talked about. You can see we're throwing all kinds of surprises at you. So make sure you're there for our next show. From now until then, get out there and let the whole world know that you are a CEO.